Okay.
On this week's episode, it's the best of television for 2019 and also the decade as well. Time for another game of Jumanji. Time for another game of Jumanji. And was the fix in at the Game Awards? All this and more as we reach our next stop, the PCC Multiverse. And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. This is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We truly hope everyone out there listens to all of our great shows, whether it's on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, Topicocalypse, or the Lakers Fast Break podcast. But it wouldn't be a PCC Multiverse without my good friend. He's our own Jeff Keighley of Pop Culture Cosmos. You got to check out what he's doing today at popculturecosmos.wordpress.com, his awesome book, Congratulations, You Suck, and catch his awesome podcast as well, Topicocalypse, available now on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel, his own channel, Topicocalypse, which is available now on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. It is my good friend. It is Josh Peterson. What's up, man?
Nothing much. Just got done hosting my my 2019 Game Awards show. Did you have a chance to catch that?
Oh, yes, I did. And as a matter of fact, we will talk about that on the back end of the show because I have a little bit to say about the Game Awards and who the Game Awards were given to. So that's something I really want to talk to you about. Also, as well as some of the major announcements from State of Play by PlayStation that came out earlier this week, and also as well the Game Awards as well. Because, alongside giving the winners to who they feel, whoever the judges are for the Game Awards and whatnot feels are the best of the best in video games for 2019. There's also some major reveals, including what we can now call Xbox Scarlet or the next Xbox. We now have a name for it, so we'll talk about that at the back end of the show. But also as well, we're going to talk about Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is a major CW crossover event that's been happening for DC. I really want to ask Josh his thoughts on it, and if actually people will care or have cared about DC's latest crossover event on the CW. We'll also find out the ratings for it later on the program because Jessica Boggs from the TVRatingsGuide.com, she's stopping by not only to give us a December TV update with some shows that, on broadcast television, how well they're doing and things of that nature. Also as well, she's going to give us a ratings update on Crisis on Infinite Earths. Plus also as well, she's going to give her best of 2019 as far as TV is concerned, and also the best of the decade. And, I'll throw in my picks as well. But my friend, it's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great episode. Always when you start off with another great movie coming to movie theaters this weekend. And this week is no exception with Jumanji. Jumanji 2, the next level. So I ask you, my friend, this is another round of Jumanji. People totally underestimated the first one when it came out, including yours truly. I had no expectations at all for this movie that it would actually do even well, the first one when it came out, and it almost garnered $1 billion at the box office worldwide. It actually found an audience during the course of The Last Jedi's run, and actually after the Last Jedi was number one. Guess what came in its place? Something that was released before hit number one after in Jumanji. So this is going to be something where it's going to at least get the first weekend before Star Wars Rise of Skywalker comes out. But do you see lightning strike twice in Jumanji 2 from the fact that it did so well after the first few weeks, and just in January, February seemed to pick up steam, and everybody seemed to go ahead, and after they saw The Last Jedi, went to go see Jumanji. Do you see that happening again for the sequel?
I do, because look, they got Danny DeVito and Danny Glover both on there. I mean, that's a pretty powerful cast right there, especially if you include the fact that they're supposed to be playing other people. Like that's even funnier. But you know, and even I think all the buzz that this might be Jack Black's last film before he retires, I think that's also generating buzz. Though I did hear that there was a Pick of Destiny 2 being worked on a while back, so I don't know how true these rumors are. But
Well, he said he just wants to, at this point, because he's like me, he just hit 50, he wants to settle down with a family. But he said if a Quentin Tarantino came knocking on the door, he would go ahead and just go and do that in a minute. So he said that he's not, if he retires and this would be his last film, it would probably be only in the, you know, non-literal sense, and that he, you know, given a good project or given a good chance to go ahead and be able to, you know, if he was given a right film role, he would go back into it. Plus, he said he wouldn't discount being on TV because that would be able to give him more more family time as well.
yeah, so nothing's set in stone until it is. But okay, so here's the thing: I have never watched the last Jumanji. I saw, you know, obviously I've seen Robin Williams' Jumanji, but I didn't see the last one. So I keep asking people, and these are people who I know have all varied tastes in films, and I'm like, was Jumanji good? And they're like, yeah, it was actually really funny. So these are all people who, you know, they are come from all different walks of life, and they like all different types of movies. And I'm getting the same consensus from all of them. So I'm thinking maybe it's time I need to sit down and actually watch these movies. And if this many people love this movie, and you know, it feels like the next Jumanji is something that, yeah, you can take a family to go see, and it will reach a wide variety of people. So I have no doubt that it's going to do just as well as the first one, if not better.
I did see it after the fact, and I will tell you, it is popcorn. It was popcorn fun. It was a popcorn, you know, it's a light, it's all right on the funny side. It's okay. I mean, I didn't like it as much as a lot of other people did, but it's popcorn fun. To me, I thought it was very light, very campy. You know, they didn't take themselves seriously, which I think is a good thing in this case. And I think overall it was just a fun film. And if you're into a fun film like that, I think it's something for you. And Jumanji 2, The Next Level, looks to be something very similar. I don't think they're going to mess with the formula too much. They said they would go into more character detail in this one. So because Sony obviously has eyes on this one for at least going the distance and one more, with or without Jack Black, they're probably going to go ahead at some point, and even if this does anywhere near what Jumanji 2 did, I see a Jumanji 3 on the horizon after that, with or without Jack Black. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But I really think that they're not going to mess too much with the formula. The reviews have come out, and they are very similar to what the first one had, in that, you know, people thought it was just okay, family fun, popcorn fun, the same things that I saw into it. So I'm right now, I can tell you that you should go see Jumanji before you go see Jumanji 2, just so that you have an idea what's going on, and that you won't be disappointed, as long as you're not going expecting true cinema art or something that's really outstanding. As long as you just want to go ahead and have a good time, I think you'll get what you want. I think you'll get what you bargained for.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Everyone's saying it's just a fun movie to watch. So, you know, I don't know if I would make it to the theaters to see this one, but you know, looking back on all the people who've talked so fondly of it, it is something that I would love to just sit down on my couch and watch on a day off. I do plan on doing that. You know, I'd love to talk about on a future episode. But yeah, it sounds like it's a fun movie. Is it something that you and your family are interested in going to see together?
Kind of, but it's not exactly to the level of Star Wars Rise of Skywalker coming out next week. It's something that we think we may catch maybe when we're during Christmas break and all that, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm not going to go see it right away, I don't think, unless something really compels me to do so, but I don't see anything compelling me to do so at this point in time. I just think it's something I'm going to catch at some point in time. I'm busy right now trying to catch up with all the award-winning movies, the ones that are winning all these awards, or the acclaim, these high up on the list, because all these critic lists have come out, and I'm just trying to catch up with many of them. In fact, in the past week, I've seen 5 movies that are on lists right now all over with critics. So I'm really just trying to catch up with that so I can determine my own best of 2019 list. So is Jumanji 2 on the list somewhere as far as me going to be able to see it? Yes, but it right now. I've just got to prioritize which movies I have to see, and the movies that are really getting critical acclaim are the ones I'm probably going to prioritize first before I see Jumanji 2. But yes, I will be making my way. If my girls want to and my wife wants to, the whole family and all that, yeah, I'll probably go ahead and check it out, maybe even sooner rather than later.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, if I think a film like this, what makes it good, or what is really going to decide whether or not it's good, is it going to be able to pull families into it? We have all these franchises going on. Is this going to be able to pull families? Are people going to want to leave their houses to go see this movie? Is it something that moms and dads are going to want to pay, 17, 18 bucks a ticket to go take their families to see? And I think if it can rise above that standard, then yeah, that is the mark of a successful film.
Now, I'm kind of curious that the expectations monetarily are kind of on my kind of what I feel are on the low side. It's only expected to do around $45 million domestically here at the box office. I have a feeling it's going to go above that because I think there's a lot of goodwill when it comes to Jumanji. Like I said, my friend, people went to go see this movie in droves after the first of the year, 2 years ago when the first one came out. I mean, they let The Last Jedi have its run in the first couple weeks, and everything was good until people started really becoming divisive on The Last Jedi. So the word of mouth spread, and there's a reason why The Last Jedi earned $600 million less than The Force Awakens, and that was because of the bad word of mouth with some individuals out there that really didn't like The Last Jedi and the controversy and all that. So that after 3 weeks, 4 weeks or so, it went down. Jumanji stayed level and actually got more interest. People went to go see that instead, and that's when it really started gaining some notoriety as a big hit for Sony. I see something similar this time around. Maybe not, because if Rise of Skywalker is actually good and actually not as polarizing as The Last Jedi, it could be a little bit longer wait for Jumanji 2 to get back on top. But at least we'll have one weekend on top. $45 million domestically and maybe $150 million worldwide is maybe a little bit on the lower side, but we'll wait and see right now what's going on with Jumanji 2, and we'll let you know what exactly has happened this weekend at the box office on our Monday show, Pop Culture Cosmos. But for right now, it looks like that Jumanji 2, The Next Level, is coming out to pretty good reviews. A lot of people out there are like, looks like it's a lot more fun, just like the first one. So a lot of people are expecting to go ahead and take in Jumanji 2, The Next Level this weekend. And again, we'll let you know how it did at the box office on our Monday show, the Pop Culture Cosmos. What are your thoughts out there on Jumanji 2, The Next Level? Share us your thoughts. Also, what do you think about Jumanji 2, The Next Level? Share us your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Also as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanica Media, and Game Source on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Well, before we head to the break, my friend, and our conversation with Jessica Boggs from the TVRatingsGuide.com, I got to ask you, as our comic book man in the know, can you shed some light on what's going on with this DC crossover on the CW with all their superhero shows in Crisis on Infinite in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and the comic book source the comic books that it gets its source material from?
So Crisis on Infinite Earths is basically all of DC's worlds that they have created. So Marvel did a bad job of this, right? Like, they have all these different timelines where all these different versions of different heroes exist. DC has the same thing, but they've done a good job at connecting them, showing that they're all, going side by side with each other. They have, the Justice League and the Justice Frontier. Like, all the old comic books are still being made into new, getting new story arcs in this. And while, like, the newer version of these heroes, Crisis, the New 52, things like that, like, they're all parallel universes, but they all can coincide with each other. And obviously the Flash has the ability to run in and out of these universes. with Crisis on Infinite Earths, I love what the CW is doing, where they're taking taking our favorite like Arrowverse shows, right? We have the Flash and the Arrow, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, and they're taking all these shows that didn't really get might not last that much longer or already about to end, and they're bringing closure to us. They're giving us showing us how these shows end. How does Oliver's story end? How does where is the Flash going to go? All these different heroes that they have spread out through these different shows are bringing them together. But not only that, they're taking old properties, right? Like the old Michael Keaton Batman. You have the what's his name? The guy that did the voice, Kevin Connolly Batman. He's a version of him.
Kevin Connolly or Kevin Conroy?
Kevin Conroy. Sorry, they brought Brandon Roth back from Superman Returns. They have all these old films that have been kind of spinning in their own universes for so long. They've managed to bring them all together and kind of make it one coherent piece. And I've never seen that done with a TV show before. And I'm going to check it out as soon as the whole thing is complete. But I love even hearing about the idea that they brought, they have Constantine, and he goes and visits Lucifer from the Netflix show that was originally on Fox. Like, that is really cool to me. So I think they're doing a great job with this. It does show that they care about the fans. They care about the people who've grown up with these shows. And that's something that I haven't seen, Marvel's TV division do at all. So do you have any inclination to watch this Crisis?
It's hard for me to get into at this point. I noticed you talked about how DC on the TV end is doing it right. This after we've talked about how DC finally on the movie end is finally getting it right. And, it's a sign where maybe Marvel is starting to show a few cracks here and there as far as their presentation is concerned. But I think when it comes down to it, you heard this week the news that their TV division, that all their TV stuff that they were doing, outside of the regular universe that they're in with Disney Plus and all that they're doing whatever outlet or whatnot when it concerns Netflix, when it concerns ABC, when it concerns Freeform, what have you. They folded that division within Marvel Studios. So they merged and all their talent together and everything that goes with it. So right now their focus for Marvel is the Disney Plus shows that are coming up on the horizon along with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But as far as DC is concerned, we often use the CW as the butt of our jokes, especially when I speak to Jessica Boggs from the TVRatingsGuide.com. But you know what? Their backbone and pretty much their entire network is comprised of DC shows. So this is a smart crossover event for them to go ahead and do. I'm just worried that they won't be able to, with the lower budgets that they have, be able to pull something effectively off. So maybe that's why I'm not in tune to it as much as I maybe should, because of the fact that I just don't have enough faith in the DC product when it comes to the CW network, because they've never been able to show anything that really gets people's interest in a large amount of ratings or anything of that nature.
Yeah, I mean that's true, because the thing with these CW shows, especially the DC heroes that they seem to adapt, is you never know when the show's going to get canceled, right? You had Constantine canceled after 6 episodes. Legends of Tomorrow's been on for 4 or 5 seasons now, and it's coming to an end. Arrow's coming to an end, and that was like the big show. So how long till the Flash comes to an end? Supernatural, how long? Like their show? Well, his Supernatural's been on for 14 years, so I mean, they did a good job with that. But it's just how long until these shows all get canceled, so you're getting attached to these things. So on that note, I'm really glad that they're bringing a proper end to these heroes, or jumping ahead. If they are going to end, they're jumping ahead and saying, here we go, like, what if this happens, like at least you have this, right? So I'm excited about that. But yeah, no, I totally, like, I don't get attached to these shows anymore. Like, I barely watch any of these. I've seen a few episodes of Supergirl, watched 4 seasons of Arrow, watched 2 seasons of The Flash, 1 season of Legend of Tomorrow. But like, there's so many, and I don't have time to keep up with it anymore. But I do love the idea of what they're doing.
You've got Black Lightning, Batwoman you didn't even mention. There's others as well. Wouldn't it be kind of cool if just like Thanos came out of a portal and just like tried to snap them all away? Until next season.
Right, yeah. Just I would love to see that ultimate comic book crossover come to life. Marvel versus DC. That'd be cool if they could somehow come together over that.
That would be great indeed. But it is Crisis on Infinite Earths. If you get a chance to check it out, or if you have checked it out, we'd love to hear your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Also as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanica Media, and Game Source on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. And let us know if it's something that we need to catch in its entirety, and we'll go ahead and make the effort to do so. Or also let us know if it's not even worth our time. Well, coming up next, we've got Jessica Boggs from the TVRatingsGuide.com. She's going to stop by with her December TV update. Plus, also she's going to give her list of the best TV shows of 2019, and also as well the best TV shows of the decade. And I'll throw in some as well, just for good measure. And on the back end of the show, we've got our talk on the state of play from PlayStation and the Game Awards. Was the fix in when it concerns Death Stranding? I'm going to ask Josh's opinion on that and more. This is the PCC Multiverse. And we're about to close out the show. This is the PCC Multiverse. If you need a listing of where we're at, because we're being played all around the world, 7 days a week on radio stations worldwide, just let us know. Or you can go ahead and stop by right on our Facebook page, Pop Culture Cosmos, and you'll see a listing right there of all of our radio stations, plus some of our over 30 different podcast options as well. And also, Game Source on Facebook has those listings as well. My friend, you've got a great thing going on with Congratulations, You Suck. There's still time to buy it before the holiday season. So come on, let everybody know out there why they need to get, as a stocking stuffer, as a great Christmas present, your book, Congratulations, You Suck.
Well, it fits perfectly in stockings, so there's that. And it's also a little reading material for the Christmas break. Those of you who got a few days off, or a week or 2 weeks, if you're a teacher or a student, you can definitely check that out. And it's just a good conversation starter, or a good coffee table decoration. It's got something for everybody. So you should check it out. Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Powell's Books. It's all over the place. And please leave a review on Amazon. I would greatly appreciate it. And honestly, if you have any questions at all, send me an email, humanicamedia@gmail.com, or popculturecosmos@yahoo.com, and I will get back to you. And just let me know what you think. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas.
You know what would work even better, my friend? If somebody actually gets a Nook or a Kindle, buys Congratulations, You Suck, downloads it right on there for them, puts it in the stocking so it's right there for them, so they not only can go ahead and have your book, but they can also go ahead and find your other books as well. Hey, how about that, man? How about that?
There we go. What? 2 birds, 1 stone? Love it.
There you go. That is Congratulations, You Suck. You can find it today at barnesandnoble.com, also as well Amazon.com, the Nook, the Kindle, and everywhere you can get your books. Also as well, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Jessica Boggs from the TVRatingsGuide.com for her December TV update and her thoughts on the best of 2019 and the decade. And also thank you so much to everyone who was part of Retro City Games Day. And if you didn't get a chance to donate to one of our great causes, UMC Children's Hospital, also as well, Three Square of Las Vegas, and also the Girl Scouts of Southern Nevada, Troop 249. If you get a chance, please stop on by the Retro City Game Stores in the Las Vegas area, in Henderson or Town Square, right on Las Vegas Boulevard. Stop by, give a donation, either cash, canned goods, kids' toys, new please, and also as well, new kids' underwear, socks, or clothing. Got to be new please. So we can go ahead and get those distributed to UMC Children's Hospital, 3 Square of Las Vegas for canned goods and also monetary donations. And for monetary donations, and also as well, kids clothing. The Girl Scouts of Southern Nevada, Troop 249, are going to distribute that out to schools here in Clark County for kids that truly need a good holiday. Well, all kids need a good holiday, but I think you get my drift. I hope kids don't be on the naughty list. That's for sure.
Do they need a good holiday?
Not if you're grading their papers.
There we go.
All right. But before we head on out, my friend, we got to talk some video games. So before we head on out, wanted to hear your thoughts on, first off, earlier this week, PlayStation had its Nintendo-ish, Treehouse-ish state of play. So I want to hear your thoughts, since it's not an original idea what they did, but let's do it anyways. PlayStation state of play. Was there anything that was appealing, whether it was the Resident Evil 3 remake announcement, Media Molecule's Dreams coming out in February, Babylon's Fall from Platinum Games? Was there anything that was appealing to you at all at state of play?
Hold on, sorry, I didn't know we were talking about this. Let me get the list here.
I said we were talking about both. Read the DMs.
I grazed it.
You grazed it all right, like a cow.
So Resident Evil 3 looks really good. We kind of know what we're getting, right, from the Resident Evil 2 remake that came out. We do have confirmation, right, with all the stuff that there is a PlayStation 5 coming out, so that's good. I'm just kind of going through your Predator Hunting Grounds. What is it? That's something we don't really know a lot about.
Untitled Goose Game.
Untitled Goose Game. That actually looks cool. Not cool, but I heard that it's fun. So, I mean, could be good. Babylon's Fall, actually, I'm interested in, just because it might be one of those, like, the Order 1886 type games, where it looks cool, but it's only, it's like 6 hours of gameplay, and then you never hear anything about it ever again. So, which
is a shame, because I love the Order 1886 concept, and like you said, then the game came out. So
yeah. I mean, it's not like my least favorite game or anything. It's fun.
No,
I just fun. Like we see a lot of these.
A sequel to come out, but yeah, that's another story.
Yeah,
that's another story.
We see a lot of these titles come out, and then they just kind of get thrown by the wayside.
Yep, yeah. But it is a great looking game, though.
For sure.
Yeah. But anyway,
Ghost of Tsushima was the other thing I wanted to hit. Like I know
there was a teaser for it. There's a teaser for it,
and they showed the actual trailer at the Game Awards. But like I'm still really excited about this. Yeah.
Which we'll go into which we'll go into now. How about that? So basically, State of Play didn't have a whole lot to bring to the table. Like I said, the Resident Evil 3 remake was pretty much the major thing that went on. And also Media Molecule's Dreams. And, that project's been, in limbo and working on forever, seemingly. And now it's finally got a February 2020 release date, which is great. But that's a little bit an issue and I'll talk about that in a sec. Babylon's Fall and all that. But, there were also a lot of ports that are now coming to PlayStation. So that's a good sign, and some indie games and whatnot. But really wasn't that big or in capturing of the news and things of that nature when it came to the State of Play. When it came to the Game Awards, however, we'll talk about the debuts first of some stuff. First off, we're not going to talk about the new Xbox yet. We'll save that for last. But Godfall from Gearbox, a new game coming from them. So got to see the trailer for it. I don't even know how well it looks, because I didn't see any gameplay. Of course, you never see any gameplay when it comes to these intro debut trailers. Telltale's coming back with The Wolf Among Us 2. Ghost of Tsushima, you did get a larger look, like Josh was mentioning. That's coming in the summer of 2020. Amazon and Magic the Gathering both are getting MMOs. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Amazon with New World and Magic the Gathering is also coming out, like I said, with both with an MMO. And what got Josh really excited, because this is a game he was really, really talking good about, and that's a sequel to Hellblade. It's called Senua's Saga. So this is a sequel to the original Hellblade, which you just absolutely loved at the time. I know you just couldn't say enough good things about it. And also Gears of War Tactics, which is going to be a tactical RPG-like game. Something similar in the realm of Halo Wars, even, you could say, because this is something that's splintering off from the main the main storyline that, in this case, it's now Gears of War is doing. So I want to hear thoughts about these games, anything that just came out at you. I know Ghost of Tsushima is something that really you were looking forward to, but was there anything else as well? The new Hellblade, I know there was other stuff there during the Game Awards that was announced that really caught your eye.
Okay, so what kind of came out of nowhere for me was Naraka Blade Point. Like I saw that, and I love the mechanic where you jump into the air and you kind of twirl around. It reminds me of like a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon type game. My question here, what I've been wondering is that all it is? How is the combat? Is the story good? Is it
too similar to Ghost of Tsushima?
Yes and no, because my big concern is not even that. It's the question of like, oh, cool, you showed me flying around some trees and stuff, but like, what else do you have for me besides that? Because it's got some like Heavenly Sword type aspects to it with the big swords and the kind of like over proportioned characters. It looks fun in theory, but what else does it offer me? Because it feels to me like one of those games that you're going to enjoy for like 2 hours and then you might never come back to it again. So there's that. Gears Tactical. I honestly I don't have any interest in playing any Gears games outside of the over the shoulder type games that are out right now. I'm playing through Gears 5 right now, and last night I actually fought a boss and I died 16 times, in case anyone was wondering about that. But Gears is already it's becoming stale to me. Like I don't have any desire to play any side stories on that. So that's where I stand on that. Ghost of Tsushima looks amazing. I love that it has these Assassin's Creed type elements to it where you're jumping out of trees, jumping off buildings. Like you saw that part in the trailer, right? When he's standing on the hut and he jumps down and plunges his sword into the neck of the guy beneath him. Like there's a lot of it feels like there's a lot of different ways to play that game. And I love the fact that it's still coming out, and at the Game Awards, right? They had the orchestra playing behind the curtain and that whole thing. Like, I feel like this is going to be a big game. It's going to be a high quality AAA cinematic title that will be released. Oh, it shows here, right? It's PS4 this summer. So, I mean, that could be right. Or next summer.
And that's something I wanted to ask you.
Wait, summer 2020.
Yeah, that's next summer. Hello.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I thought that was going to be a PS5 title, but I'm reading.
And that's something I wanted to ask you, my friend. Should it be a PS5 title? We also mentioned in the State of Play, Media Molecule's Dreams. I think both of those games, since they've been in development forever, they should be both on the PS5 to maximize their potential.
Well, I'm wondering if the development started before the PS5 dev kits came out, and that's what made these want to go to PS4. Dreams, I heard is glitchy as all get up right now, so they haven't really perfected it.
That's been in development while the PS3 was being sold.
Right. So it's been in development for a very long time. Ghost of Tsushima looks beautiful. It looks just like it looks like a visual feast. It looks like it's going to be fun to play. The combat is very smooth. But with it launching on the PS4 in the summer and the new consoles coming out, 2.5 months later, is it going to be one of those games that falls by the wayside because it will have its time to shine, but then everyone's going to be too obsessed over the the PS5, Xbox, Project X, whatever it is. I feel like this would be a game that would need to have some kind of up-res package, or it would need to be remastered for the PS5. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think it's a mistake. Personally, I think both of those titles should be showcased on the PS5. You mentioned what you thought was coming to the new Xbox. And again, we're going to talk about that here in a second. So I just don't think it's the right move for either Media Molecule's Dreams or also as well the Ghost of Tsushima. I think Sony has, with The Last of Us 2, a major game for the PS4 that they can go ahead and still count on and rely on, because The Last of Us 2 is going to get an up-res version for the PS5, just like they did the original one for the PS4. So I think there's just going to be something that is going to be a mistake, and I see Media Molecule's Dreams being kicked to the curb, like we've seen with many Sony titles before. And Ghost of Tsushima in the summer 2020, that's very iffy, because if you put something out in the summer, there's not always a chance you're going to find an audience for it, but it does look like a very pretty game. Couple of things before we hit to the Xbox real quick, my friend, and that is Gearbox's new title that they announced, Godfall. Were you impressed by it? What were your thoughts?
Godfall looks interesting. I mean, Gearbox is, they're Borderlands. So, I mean, if they do that according to the Borderlands standards and the writing's good and the combat is good, I could be interested in it. But right now I don't really know enough to like say much about it. But yeah, it looks, I'm intrigued by it, but I don't know if it's something that I'm going to be throwing onto my to buy list at this moment. Hellblade 2 is something you asked me about. Yes, I'm really excited about that. Not a lot of games tackle mental health the way that they do, and I think it's a beautiful game. It's well written. I just don't know where they would go after the last one, because you get this big reveal that she is mentally unstable. So what happens next? That's the big question there. But I am excited about it, to answer your question.
I hope it'll be as justifiably good as the first one, because you spoke volumes about it, as well as other people did, and how it tackles mental health issues. So I'm hoping this Senua Saga will do the same thing. Telltale, last thing I want to talk about when it comes to the games at the Game Awards that were announced. They're back in business, my friend, or at least a new revised version of Telltale Games. The game that they chose to go ahead and start off with in development is The Wolf Among Us 2. Was that the right move, or would you have chosen another game in their library?
No, I think this is the right move. They're going back to basics. Wolf Among Us was kind of the game that put them on the map. And if they were to show people like, hey, we're starting over and we hear what you want, we're not going to be doing, we're not going to just be chasing big IPs anymore. We're going to go back to our roots, the reason that people loved us in the first place. And I think this is a great move by them.
Well, then that's a good decision indeed, because they have some great original ideas. It's just hard for them to go ahead, like you said, once they became dependent on trying to get IPs like Game of Thrones, Borderlands, and all the other ones that they got over the years. They became so reliant on it. Their original titles went by the wayside. So The Wolf Among Us 2 is a step in the right direction. All right, my friend. The two last things we're going to talk about the Game Awards. The big reveal of the entire week was what the new Xbox, or what has been Project Scarlet, is now been announced. It's now been showed off. And it looks quite a bit different than the Xbox One that we currently have now. It's coming out next holiday. It's the Xbox Series X. So I ask you, my friend, it looks like my subwoofer. Am I going to have a problem when I try to plug it into Dolby and I'm trying to think I'm going to get surround sound and a thumping bass, and I realize that's my Xbox Series X instead?
No, it's just you just got to remember to plug it into your Onkyo receiver, and then you'll be good, right?
I might try to whack it a couple times. Say, hey, I want more bass. I want more bass.
I'm going to be like sitting there chatting with it. Hey, Alexa. Wait, no, that's not Alexa.
It looks like an Alexa on steroids.
It does. They're actually going to make the Skyrim Alexa game, like the show. Eat the cheese, eat the cheese.
One thing I want to ask you with the Xbox Series X is this. They did not get rid of the Blu-ray, which I know was something they have been hinting of doing as far as their new game console for quite some time. I think the sales of the Xbox One that is digital only and is not the Xbox One S that comes with the Blu-ray drive, I think the sales on it were sluggish enough to send a message to them, hey, now is not the time to go all digital, because going all digital for a system like that is really a mistake, especially the fact that I still will tell you the Xbox One S is the best value. They put 4K HD they put 4K HDR Blu-ray machines inside their units. Thought it was a brilliant move. Why would you even think of doing something else? And this Xbox One Series X this Xbox Series X that's coming out next year looks like it's following that with a Blu-ray driver of their own. Was it a good move or not?
I don't know. I think it's a good move. I think that people are finally starting to catch up to the Blu-ray trend, the HD stuff that are, of this generation. Obviously, Microsoft's doing the right thing this time. They're not backing some, HD DVD or anything. So they're putting in I'm sure what their marketing department is predicting is going to be the next level of HD. And, there's a lot of sales on like 4K Blu-rays and stuff like that. So I honestly feel like 4K is the way of the future right now. And they're just trying to get ahead of the curve, where people are saying it's a bad idea now, but, 2 or 3 years down the line, I think it's going to work out well for them. Also, love the fact that there's a disc drive in here because, well, I do appreciate the desire for all digital content. Like I collect things. I like to have physical copies of things. I like to have discs that I put on my shelf. I love to see the cases. I am not ready to go quietly into the non-physical future.
Do you like the fact that they kept the controller for all intents and purposes? I'm sure there's some slight modifications on it, but it looks exactly like the Xbox One controller.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with the Xbox One controller. There's not really a lot of ways you can change a controller and still make it, go with your console scheme. So like, I think this controller looks great, and I would absolutely love if I could sync my Xbox One controllers with it too. That would be a dream come true. I do have a question for you though. We saw in the trailer, right? We saw footage for 3 games. We saw Forza, we saw FIFA, and we saw Halo. So do you feel like those are going to be the 3 launch titles that we're going to get, or do you think there might be more than that?
Well, I'm sure there will be more than that. I'm sure we'll be hearing about a lot more in the coming days. And in fact, for the PlayStation 5, Godfall was a PC PS5 exclusive. So that's something that's not coming out originally on the Xbox format. So I'm just going to say this. I think that would be a smart move if they came with a 1-2-3 punch. They're doing it the right way. Whereas Sony, I'm not sure what they're doing, but not having 2 games that could be of great quality right off the get-go be their debut games on that console, especially Ghost of Tsushima, which you and I think looks beautiful on a PlayStation 4, would look even better on a PlayStation 5. I think that was a mistake that they probably will regret at some point in time. But when it comes to the Xbox Series X, overall, I have good starting impressions, even though it looks, again, like my subwoofer. I still think there's going to be a lot of good things coming up for the Xbox Series X, especially if, like you said, they pack it with that 1-2-3 punch as far as games debuting on the system when it comes out in holiday 2020.
Okay, last question regarding the games. Forza has they used to alternate Forza Horizon and then Forza Motorsports. Do you think that since this was the year that Forza Motorsports was supposed to come out, do you think they're going to skip that line and go straight for another Horizon game on launch?
Good question. I think they'll still do a motorsports game. Remember, motorsports games always look great on new consoles because, you always take a look at the close-ups of the cars and the reflections and all that. So car racing games are always great to have as starting games on a console. And with an added Halo game and also as well, like you said, some of the other stuff that you think is going to be on the way from Xbox. I just think it's a good move overall for Xbox on the Series X. I think it will be a Forza Motorsports game, not the Horizon ones.
Okay, because I agree because remember Xbox One launched with Forza 5, 6. I don't remember which one it was, but it was a mainline game. But at the same time, I feel like a Horizon game would be a great chance to show off some of the capabilities of this machine. Right, because you're driving through all these different environments, you're seeing the weather change and all that stuff. So I don't know, it's just food for thought for them. But I'm just excited to play, another Forza game. I'm a huge fan. I love those games, so it just is a joy for me to go back, as well as a new Halo game. So I hope that that's actually a launch title and not something that we have to wait another 6 months to play.
Well, let's hope everything that was debuting at the Game Awards and State of Play this week are both going to be up to snuff when it comes to games coming out in 2020 and beyond in some cases for the Game Awards and State of Play and all the things that were introduced with it. If you have any thoughts on the Xbox Series X, initial impressions, plus also a lot of the games that were that were shown off at the State of Play and Game Awards as well, please let us know. PopCultureCosmos at yahoo.com. Also as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanica Media, and Game Source on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Well, again, thank you so much to Jessica Boggs for appearing on the show. Before we head on out, my friend, I got to ask you, was the fix in? Because the last thing on the Game Awards is who won the awards, and the major awards for the most part, not all, but the most part, including Game of the Year, was won by Death Stranding. And again, I'll ask you, my friend, who hosted the Game Awards?
Jeff Keighley.
And who happens to have a cameo in said Death Stranding?
Jeff Keighley.
So I ask you again, my friend, was the fix in? I know he and Kojima are tight buds. I know he's a big admirer of Kojima, and a couple years ago when Kojima was shown the curb and kicked to the curb and all that bad situation, there was the situation on the Game Awards at that point in time where Jeff Keighley was really distraught and upset that he couldn't come on the show and all that, and the protests and all the thing and the controversy and all that. And I get that. And now years later, he has Death Stranding, which is done very well, but it's not without its polarity in people liking it and not liking it. It's got an overall rating of around 82 from Metacritic. Is it deserving of the Game of the Year, or do you think the fix was in like I do?
Yeah. I mean, I don't like to believe in the conspiracy stuff, but I do think that there's something weird going on there because Death Stranding's reviews were all over the place. Even the biggest reviewers out there, IGN, Polygon, Kotaku, like they weren't saying great things about it. Whereas last year with God of War, they're saying great things about God of War, and that's why God of War took home all these big things. So I feel like Death Stranding was far too polarizing to have won a Game of the Year award. So there's got to be something going on there. So who is the panel of voters, right? Like it doesn't make any sense to me that
I think the panel of voters were Jeff Keighley, and Jeff Keighley.
And Kojima, it would seem. I don't know, man. Like Borderlands 3 was really good. Control was really good. I saw Control did get nominated for something.
It got nominated a lot, and it also received IGN's Game of the Year, and I'm not even sure it deserved that.
Yeah, but even like there's Gears 5, even there's a new Call of Duty out there. Like there are better games out there than Death Stranding, and Death Stranding didn't even come out until like 6 weeks ago. So it just feels weird to me that this game has gotten so much traction on this list.
Well, the game at the Game Awards that earned the narrative of the year, Disco Elysium, is something I alerted to you a few weeks ago. And it is the highest rated game, I believe, that came out according to Metacritic this year. And if that's the case, I know I just go off of it as far as numbers, black and white, what I see on the screen, what I see from a universal acclaim perspective. Metacritic just grabs the reviews and compilates into one. If that's the case, I think they should have just based it off of that, and that should have been your Game of the Year, just so you're not putting any type of bias into it, and you're seeing and you're taking a collection of over 100, 50 to 100 game reviewers as opposed to maybe a panel of 3 or 5 or Jeff Keighley. So that's my opinion. I think, not that I think or have played very much of Disco Elysium. I've only seen a lot of the game. I haven't actually had a chance to play it. But again, if that's the highest rated game, or if there was another game that came out that was rated higher this year, I think that should have deserved it. But again, that wasn't my call.
No, I agree. I'm curious how the voting works on this. This is off topic, but our friend Brad Behringer of the Anime Collector, he has 1.59 thousand subscribers on his YouTube channel. It's crazy. Anyways,
we're talking about 1,590 or 1.59 million.
Well, it says 1.59K, so I'm assuming that's 15,000.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby.
Yeah,
that's about as many followers as we have on our Podbean channel. So there you go.
Well, each of his episodes gets. I'm looking at it right here. It gets about 4,200 views. So good for him. Good for him. This one's got 22,000 views. Good for him, man. Like, I knew the guy in high school, and I'm happy to see he's doing so well.
Yeah, that's good to see. He's actually worked with us in the past on getting us anime guest for the show, so I appreciate his help on that, and I wish him continued success as well. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the PCC Multiverse. We thank you for listening. And also thank you to our viewer who watched the show as well. And here's hoping you have yourself a great